Evening, guys. It's the takeaway with me, Mr. B, TalkMU, Yank talking smack, and the bi-weekly regular Eddie.
Yes.
I'm liking that one, Talk. I'm glad it's been changed.
You know, the thing was, I kept getting grief off bath time with On about Ollie at the wheel. And I was like, Barry at the wheel, Ollie at the wheel, Johnny at the wheel. I'm like, all right, I'm going to get rid of it. I'm going to get it rid. So I've changed it up. And Fizz Bang, well, now we've got to take me home. You can't argue with that.
Cool.
Yank talking smack. Long time no see. How you been? Well, long time no see. Long time no hear. How you been, man?
I've been busy. It's been a long couple weeks. I had a wedding I was at last week, so that was long, and then just lots of work and been working a lot of 70-hour weeks. So happy I was able to find some time today to finally come back on and say hello.
Yeah. Well done. Sorry, did you say 70 or 17?
70.
Oh, God bless you.
I worked 225 hours last month.
It's good for the bank account, mate, but it's not good for your mind.
No, it's not, because I don't get paid salary.
What?
No, I get paid. I'm a financial advisor. I get paid on commission.
Oh.
So I can work as many hours as I want, and I don't get paid unless I do make results.
That's smart. I hope you don't burn out, man. 70 hours a week, though.
I know, man.
So much.
Do you know what? Actually, though, when I was young, when I was like, 19, 20, up to being like mid-30s, I worked like you won't believe.
The missus helps me not burn out. Going home to my fiance like saves me from getting too burned out and getting too destroyed.
Oh, yeah, it's your mind. You take care of your mind as well, bro, not just your body, innit?
Yeah.
God bless Connor's fiance. Eddie, how you doing, big man?
Yeah, doing all right. In terms of just like being myself, but like on the football terms, it's in the mud with Man United. So yeah, just doing okay overall. But yeah, thanks for having me on.
As always, man, my pleasure. Right, let's just bounce straight into this. You know me, I'm gonna keep mine nice and brief. Ten Hag rejects Ronaldo. I will say yes, if that's what it takes, and that's the power that he has over the marketing department at Old Trafford. I will gladly accept Ronaldo going. I'm thinking it's more a style of play situation. If Ten Hag played with a finisher, as in somebody who stayed in the box, maybe Ronaldo would be his ideal guy because we know he can do that. But the fact that he's going to want a hold of that front five, front six, maybe to be really, really fluid and mobile, I don't think Ronaldo can fit in. So that's why I believe that he's going to, he wants to get rid of him. Whether or not he can, whether or not he's got that authority coming into the club will be very, very interesting. Talk.
Yeah, look, I mean, for me, you know what? The Ronaldo thing was a kind of a bit of a farce, wasn't it, from the start, to be fair. I was pleased that he was back at the club, but you know what? It was all about the shirts. It was all about stopping City getting him and them getting the money from the shirt sales. And if Ten Hag can steer us away from Dad's Army FC and Shirt Sales FC, I'm all for it. So all the players who are just not cutting it and haven't for the last, it's not just Ronaldo. There's quite a few players who are just not doing it. It's time to get them. The ones we can get them out. The ones who we can't get out because of long contracts or whatever. It's time to put the light on them by introducing some new players and youth players and making them look, take a look at themselves. That's what we want to do, don't we? We want to make them, look at themselves and question themselves, and get themselves up for the fight.
That's true. Can I just go there?
Yeah.
With Ronaldo, I mean, it's just like what Talk was saying. I mean, the case of shirt sales being a priority, and I don't know if you said social media as well. That's been a massive thing with this club. The whole putting the soap opera out there to get clicks and monetize the clicks, as opposed to focusing on the football and doing what the big champions are doing what Man City are doing, monetizing the football. That's what you should be doing, not the whole soap opera, the whole celebrity culture, all this stuff. It's really bad. So if Ronaldo is a bit of a part of that, isn't it? I mean, having that big Instagram following, I mean, it seems like a distraction as well. So if he's got to go, then I'm for it. I mean, I know he's a top scorer for Man United, but if we look at it in context, he's a top scorer for Man United in one of the worst seasons. So is that really?
Is that really the
thing? You know?
Yeah.
So for me, Ronaldo, just on the eye test, he's shown moments, but we're trying to get away from moments FC. You know, he's shown that he can still have like a good shot from outside the box, good power header, but the rest of the time, I'm going to be honest, I see he looks a bit stiff, to be honest. And, I mean, you've seen it, Mr. B. Sometimes he can't do this. Remember against Everton when he tried the stepovers on the wing, and he just kind of was clunky and lost the ball. I thought for one moment, old CR7 is coming back, and then you just see the little clunky touches, and it was frustrating to see. So yeah, just to round off, if Ronaldo's got to go, then listen to Ten Hag. Ten Hag has got to get the back in. You've got to follow the manager if you want.
I think that's the bottom line in this story is that Ten Hag has got to get backing no matter what. I feel like us as fans, we beg for this every time a new manager has come in since Fergie's left. Is whatever manager gets brought in, fully back him and give him what he wants. I've been following Ten Hag since before we even hired Ole on to come on. I was following him back when we saw Jose at the helm of the club. And for me, if with Ronaldo leaving, for me, if this requires us to have sort of a class of 92 revolution like we did back then, where we start bringing through a lot of youth players and having them really start getting some first team minutes, so be it. Because there's not really much lower that we can get from where we are now. And it's not like, with Ronaldo leaving, it's not like really we don't have, I feel like we have academy players that are not far from coming through the system. You know, you see Joe Hugel up at striker. I think he just needs to add a little bit of meat onto his bones, get maybe a loan out, and he could be ready. Charlie McNeil has been this incredible, academy player who scored 100+ goals for City, come over to us and has banged in goals every week. I feel like if that's what's required, and that's what Ten Hag specializes in, is bringing players from the academy system at Ajax, De Ligt, De Jong, all sorts of players he's brought through, made them into amazing players, and then made major money. I feel like that's what we got to kind of roll to. We've tried everything else. We've tried bringing in established players. We've tried bringing in the big money players. We've tried little tiny, let's bring in for a little bit of money and try and make good with Dan James and some other players. Maybe it's time to go back to what this club is known for and start really bringing through the academy again, because we have not brought through an academy player to start and be an influential member of this club since Scott McTominay.
I think I said this ages ago on the channel, Mr. B, about when the way they appoint a manager at Manchester United, it needs to change. And when we was talking about Graham Potter and everything else, and I was pleased actually to hear Brian McClare on the paddock saying exactly the same thing only a few days ago, which made me I was so buzzing. I was like, go on, Chucky, that's it, my son. You know exactly where we're at, and you know exactly where we need to be at. If the conversations between Ten Hag and the board and the owners, it has been around, listen, there is no pressure on you. Your priority is to keep us in the Premier League for the first season, especially. That's it, right? Forget the top four chase, forget the cup chase, forget challenging chase and all that nonsense. You keep us in the Premier League in the first season. That is the best way to start Ten Hag's reign off as Manchester United manager. That way, he can bring...
wanting that though, talk, because they made that top four clause in the contract.
I know what you're saying. Eddie. But again, this is where they have to break that cycle of immediately putting a manager of great ability under huge pressure. If he comes in with this squad that he's got, this mishmash of a squad, no youth really being given that much of a start. A player who we brought from him in Donny van der Beek, and then we just left to rot, pushed him off to Everton, which in itself was a terrible move. He should have gone to Crystal Palace.
That was a prime.
Crystal Palace, I don't feel like would have been that much of the same. I feel like that would have been the same as Everton. I remember when the rumors were coming around, and I thought Crystal Palace, Everton came to the same. Both have very established midfield. Their midfields, I think, at both clubs were very well established. So when I saw it was between Crystal Palace and Everton, I did favor Palace, but I thought both were a bad move because they have very established midfields.
Do you know what,
Vieira and now Lampard have very established who they like to play.
I just think that Palace are more settled than Everton.
Oh, for sure. Of course.
They're all over the shop. You know what I mean? They were all over the show. And for me, it was a bad move sending the kid there. And you know what? Maybe there will be some redemption for Donny van der Beek under Ten Hag. And I hope so. The rumours are number 6, the conversation, blah, blah, blah. But like I say, for me, this has to be a no-pressure start to Ten Hag's tenure at Man United. That way, he's then got the authority and the kind of freedom to actually start introducing some of the youth players that are out on loan. I think going straight in for some of the youth player strikers from the start is a kind of a bridge too far from my.
No, yeah, I'm saying but they're close. It's not like I'm saying. Start them now, but
they have
I
to
think
be
honestly,
eased.
Hugill and McNeil are probably, I think, a year or two away from really being close to coming in.
You know what? We should be seeing them already, regardless, because we've seen at least 2 games where Man United had to go with Pogba and Bruno up front against Man City, and I forgot the last game. Was it Leicester? Mr. B.
Yeah.
This is crazy, man. You can't have that, and it's not working, and then be having the youth just sitting there when they could. They play those positions, so why not try people that are training in those positions to go and play there? I'm sure Ralph would have done this. Yeah, why wouldn't Ralph do this when we know he loves to work with youth as well?
He's not allowed to right now because he's only the interim.
Only the interim. This is the thing as well. But I think the lack of power, it may stretch over to the next manager again. This is why Ten Hag has got to dig his heels in with his contract. He can't come in, no matter how much money they throw at him. He's got to have control over bringing youth through, having his recommendations respected for the signings, because we can't see this Frankenstein team carry on with a mishmash of styles, as TALKMU said earlier. It's madness.
But you know, this is the thing, Eddie, is if you exactly what you said is bang on. But then if you factor into that, the lack of pressure in terms of them saying to him, look, just keep us in the Premier League for this first season. If you get anything better than that and you do get us into Europe, great. Because it gives him, it's a clear road. There's a clear vision. You know, he knows exactly.
There's a difference, though. I don't think it should be keep us in the Prem, because saying keep us in the Prem means that we're trying not to be relegation fodder, which I don't think should be our goal. I think it should be keep us in the top half. Keep us in around the top 8, top 6 should be, no matter what, we're United. We shouldn't be any lower than that, period. Yeah. Saying just keep us in the Prem is like, let's try and just not be Norwich next year, guys.
I agree with that.
The team, what I was going to say was the team itself. And we're talking about Ten Hag here, who's absolutely sensational manager. He's done absolutely marvelous things in a league that is a very difficult league. Let's not forget, the Eredivisie is in the top. You know, it's in the top 5 of most competitive leagues in Europe. Right, it is one of the most competitive. He got the most yellow cards last season. You know, it's a very physical league.
Because our refs are shit in this league.
So, but you know, he's got to. He's going to come in. There's no way in a million years that we would be anywhere near sort of relegation. No way. It's not under 10.
No, I know that. I'm just saying, when you say just keep us in the Prem, it just sounds like you're trying to make sure. Be like, don't be Watford, guys. Let's try and not get sent down next year.
This is the thing, you see. This is what we have to. You have to take a step back here and go, hold on a minute. You're talking about a club here that has been underperforming massively under so many different managers, right? And you've got in front of that Manchester City and Liverpool who are doing bits and playing some amazing football. And then behind that, you've got this mountain of past, not too distant achievements, which they're looking at as players going, crap, this is what we've got to try and get up to. The levels and standards of past teams that have been at Manchester United. You put all that together and then add on top of that a new manager and say, you've got to get top 4. Right from the start, he's up against the biggest mountain you can possibly imagine. So this is why it has to be, for me, that kind of approach, because it gives you a clearer path and a freer mind and less kind of pressure, like I say, on the players. And they will give you more. The players will give you more in that kind of situation. There's no two ways about it.
Yeah, so this is why I don't have belief in the Glazers because we know old habits die hard. We've come off how many decades is it where the Glazers have tried to quick fix every season, instead of just settling down like you're talking about. Let's settle down and let's see where we're at. Let's see what football we can play. Let's see how we can develop. Not quick fix.
I mean, with the Glazers, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but they're ugly, they're lazy, they're old, they're fat, they're deluded. I mean, there's so many names we can name for our owners, and it's despicable the fact that they're still here. I mean, I don't think anybody's going to disagree that the Glazers are probably the worst thing to come out of America since, I don't know, the atom bomb.
Yeah, they're bad. So I'm doubting that they're going to reform their ways. I mean, okay,
no chance.
They've gotten Ralph, and they're saying. I don't know how certain it is that they're saying they're going to give him 5 days a month to consult.
6 days a month, yeah.
6 days a month.
6 days a day. But it's like that seems like too much of a freelance kind of thing, where you've got to take his advice and then you've got to practically do it. We know as people that are productive in whatever we do, there's theory and there's practicality. Theory. It's a different level from practicality. Actually doing things, like saying, that's why they say talk is cheap. You can say something, but to back it up with doing.
Oi! Don't be going up again. Don't be going after TalkMU here. Don't be calling him cheap.
I was just gonna say that. I was gonna say I'm not that cheap, are
talk within context, isn't it? It's cheap.
No.
Obviously, TalkMU. We know what you're about. You're a person that debates. You have good football knowledge, so it's cool. Yeah, talk in your case is cool. But
I will say, with the talk of academy players, there are a couple I've literally called out today. I think, there's Garancha, who's apparently been called up, who's a forward, who I'm a big fan of his. Another guy I looked at, and I don't know, I want to just get the panel's opinion on having him come and play at least decent minutes tomorrow. Charlie Savage. We have no Fred. We have no Scott McTominay. Matic has now announced he's leaving for the season. I feel like this is the perfect time. I've been a big fan of Charlie Savage since I've started watching the academy these last couple of years. Do you think he's a guy who we should be giving serious look at, maybe giving 40, 50 minutes come tomorrow in a game against the bottom feeder Norwich? I feel like with who we have out, at least having him on a bench is a good idea. If we're really trying to become a academy-centric team again, like we were back in the 90s, and now I think Ralph and Ten Hag have two guys who are very academy-focused. I feel like this is the perfect time to bring kind of people like that up.
But the problem there is, though, if you do that tomorrow, you have to then do it, in one of the remaining games also, or at least two or three of the remaining games, because you're sending out the wrong message to the kid. If you put kids in like that, and even if they go out and do well, and then you don't then give them another opportunity, you've taken them to the top and you drop them, and they fall really hard when you're that age.
But the next game, okay.
This is what I'm saying. So it's not going to happen.
Liverpool.
Yeah, I know that, but that's what I'm saying. So it won't happen. It won't happen, Mr. B. They won't do it. And you know what? I agree with Connor. I would, but you have to back it up. This is what I'm saying about with Ten Hag, with the youth, the approach at the start of next season, in pre-season. That is his time for that to be happening. He can make assurances and make promises, so to speak, to the youth players.
You know what? I just keep thinking of the fact that these contracts are messed up with the current squad, right? And it seems like with certain players, like we even saw Mata come on recently, where some youth player probably could have been tried there. He came on against Everton. Okay, he did a little. I actually can't remember what he did.
I actually don't think he was that bad. When I remember watching the game, he was fair enough.
All right, let me just say, the thing is, it just seems like there's too many of these senior players have got contracts where they have to make an appearance, right? So it's like, where's the space for youth to come through? And then that's going to stretch into next season. It's going to be ages to fix the contracts where, you're allowing people to come through on merit, not come through because they're being paid $500,000 a week.
Yeah.
This is why my belief is low for the Glazers reforming.
Of course. And I'll say to talk, my kind of response to you saying that it's disheartening. My thing that I would, if I'm Ralph, who is going to be around next year and kind of be still involved with the club, here's how I would frame it to try and make it look better for the academy players. I would not say, hey, you do well, we're going to play you again. Like, I'm not going to promise game time if he plays well. I'd say, here's the thing. I'll be here next year. I'm helping advise with Ten Hag. Use these 40-minute appearances to try and prove yourself for next year. Not trying to get himself. It's 6 games left in the. And if this was like November, of course you're saying, hey, do this because now you might be able to break through the squad. Now that we're in April, almost May, use this and go, academy players. I'm going to try and give you guys some minutes because this is pretty much, with injuries, a time that you can start feeding them in for 40-minute or 30-minute little cameos. Use this to prove yourself and show Ten Hag, who's now in the Netherlands, he's going to want, footage and statistics on every player in that squad, in the team, and in the academy when he comes. Be able to be like, here's my 30, 40-minute cameo against Norwich where I played very, very well. Here's an example of why I should get some minutes and a chance in the first team next year. I feel like this is a perfect opportunity.
That sounds good, yeah. That sounds really good. But all I can think of is the Glazers thinking top 4 still mathematically on. Even though these players are psychologically dead. They're dead on their feet. Everton, we know they were poor. They were poor. In that game that they won against Man United, it was only effort that made them win. What is it? Outran Man United by 10 kilometers. They didn't outdo Man United. Their quality was shit. So
of course, and I'm just saying this in the terms of giving them like substitution cameos. We have injuries.
Until top 4 is over, I can't see the players that are in the senior squad being dropped because
but they're not being dropped. That's the thing. They're injured.
All right, can I say something? Do you think it would be better to tarnish these younger players with the bullshit attitude that these players are showing on the pitch? I mean, if they go out there and they're still going to have that negative energy. Wouldn't it be better to have them coming in fresh under the new manager? All right, maybe give them a not the 40, 50 minutes, but give them the appearance so they know what it feels like to be playing at Old Trafford, but they're not directly involved in the result. Because if they're playing and United get tonked, or they play shit, or they play how they have been playing, they're still going to be part of that losing, I don't give a shit mentality. So do you think it could be a protection thing, maybe?
I think the protection thing is a very good idea. And honestly, that makes me kind of think maybe 20 minutes would be better, especially this Norwich game. I'm not saying start these guys. And when you're saying, I completely get what you're saying with not dropping them. I'm talking about we have injuries at certain spots. We're just putting him even on the bench makes sense. We have Shaw's been taken. He's done for the season. That means we have Tellez at left back. Alvaro Fernandez down in the academy has been absolutely bossing it down there. Let him come on the bench, be around the atmosphere, be in Old Trafford for an actual first team game. Give him that, that energy. Like, I've been on the bench. I want to be on the field now. Same with Charlie Savage. It's not because they're dropping anybody. Scott's out and Fred's out, and neither of them are close to coming back. Bring up someone like Charlie Savage, who's been actually doing pretty well as well down there in the academy. And we have other players Zidane Iqbal, we've seen Hannibal's apparently going to be involved. We now have a couple other guys, Garancha's coming up. I'm not saying drop anybody because, like you said, yes, top four is still on. But when we have injuries like we do now, Cavani, Varane, Scott McTominay, Luke Shaw, Fred, use this to just let them be a part of the squad. It's everybody's dream. We heard. I think it was Hannibal. Hannibal is whoever's playing for Tunisia. He came out and he said, when I was with Tunisia, and I said I'm a part of the academy team for United. Everybody goes, "Oh my God, you're with United?" That's still the impact we have around the world. Just let them be a part of it. You don't have to play them a bunch.
I hear what you're saying, but I just go back to when we've had two keepers on the bench. It's silly stuff like that.
Of course, I don't agree with keeping on the bench.
It makes me doubt that they're going to pick the right people. I think in the team.
I think it's a bit. Sorry, I think it's a bit. I think it would be very unfair on them also, going back to the current crisis we have in terms of our performances, for putting these kids in again, in with players who, firstly, would question. Wait a minute. Well, why is it? Why are you putting this kid in? So they're going to question it. You got players in who are not already in a good mindset themselves and they're not playing well. You bring in then a youth player in, they're going to question it, and it's going to make them slap their hands on their thighs even more during the game when things aren't going their way, or we're getting outplayed or whatever because they're not good enough and they're not got the energy that we're looking for in order to sort of, give us a better chance of actually winning the game. So I think it would be, from that point of view, giving the youngsters now in this current situation. If we were already mathematically out of top 4, it'd be like, cool, go for gold. But we ain't.
I'll say one more. Can I say one more thing?
Yeah, of course you can. Of course you can.
Just to finish up on like my view on this. Yeah, I want to see like the youth players. I want to see them come through because I'm not happy with seeing senior players give up. So if there can be a balance of some people coming up, like the people that Yank was mentioning, I'm all for it. And then Mr. B was saying, okay, it may be too much of a hostile atmosphere because it's just that they're stinking out the joint. The senior players have made it very tough to come into. I would say we have to see. We have to see if this has got to be the way to really what do you call it? Give these new players a baptism of fire. Come in. Let's see who's actually got the balls to come in and say they want to stake their claim for a jersey. That could be a thing, man. That could be a thing.
I didn't. I'll be honest. I didn't look at it that way. That's. I like that one.
Yeah.
I like that one. Look, we've been talking about youth. Let's talk about
the old one.
Let's talk about the senior statesman at our club. Look, he said now he wants to leave. I don't have a problem with that. He's 34. My opinion differs a lot from OMONDI on his ability on the football pitch and how long he can actually last. So him announcing he's leaving, taking it out of the club's hands, because let's be honest, there was probably an option of an extra 1 year, which the club probably would have taken just to save themselves that little bit of extra money. So I'm glad he's leaving. I applaud what he did, but his better years for me were at Chelsea. So we move.
Agreed.
We move further on.
100%, Mr. B. That's exactly what I'm going to just echo what you've just said there. I mean, his better years were at Chelsea. Fabulous player at Chelsea. Listen, he has been a decent player for us, but you know what? I mean, I'll use what Paddy says, Patrick, Dad's Army FC. We've got too many players now who are on the wrong side, of the late 20s. And it's just not working for us. And I wish him all the best in his future endeavours, whatever they may be, whatever club he goes to. If he carries on playing football, I don't know. But you know what? I've got a lot of respect for him. And I just wish him all the best. And you can see his stats there. It's all there for everybody to see.
I've just got to say, with Matic, he come on, he's got to be one of the best technicians that we've seen in this bad season. Yeah. There's a lot of games where we've just not controlled the midfield. I can't believe how bad the midfield has been this season. Like, I'm having PTSD from just trying to think of some of the bad games. It's been bad, hasn't it? It's been bad.
Yeah, that's shocking.
Getting outdone by Southampton, Brighton a little bit. The only game I can remember where we were good in midfield, is when Matic was playing against Watford. I know it's Watford, but hey, 4-1.
I'm thankful my camera's not on. That makes me want to cry.
Anyway, okay, with Matic, I'll be sad to see him go, but I know he's an old guy, isn't he? He's slow. When he's not being a technician, he's slowing down. He's looking a little bit, worse for wear. So this is the kind of player that Man United have got to be looking for. That the next one that's like Matic can get the ball, can control the ball properly with finesse, carry the ball forward. The way Matic can carry the ball forward and give the handoff to certain players, he's really good at doing that. Powerful and defend. We need another Matic needs to come in.
Sorry.
Okay, I'm gonna sound like
one second.
Yeah.
James Black, 331. I understand the conversation that you were actually having with the gentleman.
Yeah.
And obviously, you've seen Mr. 895. Ollie did get mad respect from fan channels, but we try to be. I don't know if that's pointed at us.
Well,
so we try to be open. We try to be give our views. But if you have been watching us, you would realize that we never gave Oli no.
We were really good. I think that's one of the things that I love about this channel is we're very much we're not going to really hound like incessantly on players or managers. But I'm going to sound like a broken record now. We do have a player like that already that's ready to come through. I've been watching James Garner now for the past. I don't know if you guys have seen a lot of footage of Garner while he's been down in the championship these last 2 years.
Not really.
He is bossing that division. He looks like he doesn't belong in that division because he looks like he's so much better than really anybody there. He looks like he's already a Premier League player ready to come in. And
well, listen, let me say this, Connor. Next week on this show, 10 o'clock Friday, we're going to have a real good talk about James Garner. We're going to have on Doron Tour, who's a Nottingham Forest fan. He's got a fan channel there, Nottingham Forest fan channel. Go and check him out, Doron Tour, if you're interested in what Forest are doing and our player that they've got there. And he will be coming on and telling us everything that we need to know about.
I'm looking forward to it because I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of James Garner. I feel like we've been begging for a defensive midfielder. Whenever I watch him play for Nottingham Forest, he's screaming the kind of player we like. But I'll just speak on Matic so we can move on real quick. I call him Mr. Walker because I jokingly say that he needs a walker to get around the pitch sometimes because he's getting so old.
That's disrespectful, man. Come on.
But when you really, I call that joking and jest because I think it's hilarious. But I love Matic. Uncle Matic has been a great servant to this club. I agree. I wish we had this guy. When he the age he was at Chelsea, the years that he had at Chelsea, I wish were especially because we had him. We'd have had him and Juan Mata, both Chelsea era, performances at United. This club would have been so much better. I mean, the kind of defensive midfielder we talk about that we want is exactly what Matic was about 5 years ago. And I think the thing I'll miss most, he's a guy that has had such a great impact on our locker room. We talk about toxicity in the locker room and people that just aren't good for the area. I mean, I looked at his Instagram post announcing he was leaving. The first comment is Hannibal calling him big bro and being super upset that he's leaving. And so I've heard that there's a lot of academy players who are very much really close with Matic and look up to him and have gone to him for a lot. And he hasn't given us the performances I think we were hoping for when we got him from Chelsea, but I'm certainly never going to forget the goal he gave us against Crystal Palace. One of my favorite goals I've ever. That goal against Crystal Palace is one of my favorite goals
nice.
in the last half decade from any United player. So I thank him for his service. I love him to death, but it's definitely he's doing this in the best way possible, and I wish him all the best.
Well, that'll lead us into the next topic, Mr. B. Now, the rumours around Tchouaméni linked to Man United. What's your thoughts, folks?
Yes, please.
I mean, I've not really I'm just going to be honest here. I've not really been looking at Tchouaméni in depth. I've heard people speak about him saying he's versatile, which Man United could do with a versatile midfielder. He's very fit. He's got the power and intensity. These are the buzzwords I keep hearing. Great, that's great. That's great to hear that. But does Ten Hag? I mean, I think we've heard that Ten Hag does rate him as well. That's what I was about to say. Does Ten Hag rate him? That's the most important thing. What's the manager's view? Yes, as fans, we have good views at times. Sometimes we're off. Sometimes we don't understand certain things. But the manager, I want to. If he's supporting this kind of signing, and we're hearing that he's versatile, power, all of that stuff, then bring him in. It's just maybe if the money's worth it, but if he's the right kind of player, then pay the money. If it's 70 million euros or something that is valued at, bring him in.
Well, I mean, for me, I think he's a fabulous player. He really is. And you know what? We ask the question: is Ten Hag going to play a double or a single pivot? You know what I mean? When he first arrives, that's one of the things that we're going to have to look at. And if the rumours are true that that Ten Hag is interested in this player, and we are interested in bringing him to the club, that would hopefully point to to it being a single pivot role because he is a more defensive-minded midfielder, Tchouaméni, and he's more than capable, in my opinion, of standing up to the rigours of the Premier League and what that will bring. But again, it's not about the one position; it's about what you've got around you. You know what I mean? So we know there's going to be some players leaving, but we do need to bring in. We're going to have to, whether it's going to be the first window or not, I don't know. Maybe we'll get 2 or 3. I think in this first window under Ten Hag. What kind of quality that will be, I don't know. But like I said before, and I've said on the other stream, whatever players we do bring in, or whatever choice Ten Hag makes, we have to just go with it and back him and go, you know what? Okay, then show us what this is all about. Show us how you can make this work. You've got faith in these players for a reason. Like you've just said quite well, Eddie, we have an opinion on a player. It's not always right. We look at a player, we read his abilities. It's not always right. So we have to trust in our new manager, in Ten Hag, that he's making the right decision. And if you know what, for me, if it ain't the right decision and he makes a bit of a boo-boo on a certain player here and a certain player there, so what? Managers do that. Look how many Fergie went through. We had some shocking signings under Fergie. Let's not forget. So
I thought you were going to say Pep actually for how many fullbacks he went through as well until he got it.
Well, yeah, there you go. And Klopp is, if Klopp's had his fair share as well, so it's not plain sailing from the early days. But like I say, from my point of view, this Tchouaméni, yeah, I think he's an absolute baller. I really do.
I'm in the minority because I'm not 100% sure I want him at the club. And it's nothing to do with his quality because I do think he's a high quality player. Real Madrid apparently is already close to agreeing a fee for 60. I swear Real Madrid have become this team. They're like wolves. They just only buy French midfielders at this point. First with Camavinga, now it's Tchouaméni. It seems to be the Madrid way now. But I feel like they're wanting 70, 80 million for a player. I mean, unless we can structure that to where, like with Jadon Sancho, where we're only paying 17 mil a year, I'm not so sure how badly I want to have a Maguire Part 2 happen in the midfield, where we buy somebody for a ton of money and they end up going to crap and we've just spent 80 million on who? At what age?
But there has to be some like real class and quality. It's never guaranteed, is it? That it's going to work.
They can throw it in for way cheaper. That I think is a little bit more proven.
Right,
but this is a position. Sorry, go on, Mr. B.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Can I throw a quote out here? I know it's from Paul Pogba, but he knows nothing about a player or two. Yeah, he said he's very good. He's very, very good. He's not a boy. He's a man. It's a pleasure to play next to him. He brings a lot of energy, a lot of energy, extraordinary technical and physical quality. We wish him to play a lot more games, and I'm always by his side. Now that's from Paul Pogba. Is he saying that he loves him because he does his running for him?
I was
going to say he probably does.
He's got his arm around Tchouaméni's shoulder saying, yeah, man, keep doing my homework.
Cheers, bro.
Keep doing my job for me, man. Keep making me look good.
But look,
I'm not doubting the quality.
If that's what he's doing and that's what Paul Pogba has got out of him, he's never going to play with a midfielder as lazy as Paul Pogba. So his work rate will be dropping to save himself. You know what I mean? To give himself the extra. Yeah. So I just throw it out there.
Yeah, I'm not bantering the quality. I'm not saying his quality's not great because I think he's a fantastic player. I just don't want to end up spending 80 million when there's, I think, other high quality options available. And I'm going to throw on one right now is Konrad Laimer for RB Leipzig.
Yeah.
Only worth about 40, 50 million. So we're saving about 30 something million for a guy who's part of a squad that just advanced to the next round of a European.
Yeah,
European
semi-finals now.
Yeah. And I mean, we're looking at players in the Leipzig side that are high quality. Of course, there's big talk about Christopher Nkunku, which, holy, that guy's another class of his own. Christopher Nkunku, I will pay whatever is needed. He's one of those guys where he's got the quality and he's only 60 million apparently. He's a guy I'd easily just go, yep, please, thank you. But a defensive midfielder, Konrad Laimer, actually grabbed my attention almost just as much as Nkunku in their last game in the Europa League. He does everything we want in a midfield. He's driving forward, able to pass the ball well, strong. He plays center defensive mid, but he also has actually played center back as well. So that just shows that this dude, and he's 24. So we're not talking about a guy who we're having to buy in the prime of his career. We're going to get him right before his prime for maybe 40, 50 mil. And he's a big, strong dude. That dude knows how to handle any physicality. He's got an extremely good work rate. I love Tchouaméni. I love his quality. I'm just not so sure I'm ready to pay 80 million, pounds, 80 million euros for that and have that be Maguire Part 2.
That's very interesting. Can I just comment on that? Yeah, because Lima played under Ralph as well when he was at Leipzig.
He did.
So Ralph, if he's going to be an advisor, surely Ralph has got to be recommending players like this that know how to press. Sure, I mean we know that Ten Hag's going to be doing a pressing system. So Lima, getting towards his prime, that seems like a good option to look at as well. So
right now he's got, let's see, he's got eight goals and assists in 21 matches in the Bundesliga, and then he's got 1 assist in 4 appearances in the Europa League. I mean, he's done well. He's a very, very good player. He's been involved in over 10% of all Leipzig goals this year in the Bundesliga.
Well, like I say, for me, from my point of view, whoever Ten Hag chooses, I will back him and I will back the player.
Of course.
Just got to hope that it can, it all gels, it all starts to come together and they understand the system and the tactics that he's going to get them to, put out there on the pitch.
Guys, if you're still in the chat, if you're still in the chat, hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. It's free and it doesn't cost a damn thing. Yeah, find some of the comments to fire off with talk before we wrap up. See if we can get some comments from some of you guys on a few bits.
Let's go from where we at. Let me just find the one that's highlighted right now, then I can move on from that one. So, Shomaful, not seen you in the chat before, bro. Welcome. About time someone spoke out against Ronaldo. People have been so sensitive to the Ronaldo issue that it has affected our whole club. Look, I mean, there's a lot to be said. There's a lot to be said around the Ronaldo, signing. It's not worked out very well, has it? And like Kenny said, even though he's our top goal scorer, look where we are. We're still in the champ. We might not make top 4, so it's not really worked out.
We might not. Might. We won't.
No.
It's mathematically on. That's what it's got to be.
Exactly.
I don't know this team not really up for it.
Why are you not doing this to yourself?
Anyway, Shomaful says, at Arctic Man, Ollie took the sack for Ronaldo. Pat Lawless, big up Pat, one of our members. He says, welcome, Arctic Man. Ollie had the heart and knew what had to be done. He just didn't have the skills or experience to back it up. It was, look.
Wait, what? Does that really make sense though?
I think what he's saying is that he had the desire, he had the actual, his intentions were perfect. He had the exact intentions that we wanted in a manager, where his goal is he loved this club to death. He wasn't here for any other reason, that he loved this club and wanted it to be restored to how it was when he was playing under Sir Alex. He just unfortunately was a manager who, when he had the rap sheet he did, wasn't, I think, ready. I think if this was something where Ole was coming from maybe a championship team or a team in another league where he had a better, more experience, a little bit better of a CV coming to us, I think that's exactly the kind of thing we want. Like with Ten Hag now. Ten Hag, who's been at Ajax and shown results. I think what he's saying is we got him at a bad time.
The big thing is, I've got to say it, because you can't look past the counter-attack football. That was all wrong. That was never going to copy what Alex Ferguson did.
That counter-attack football was sexy when it was on, though. I'll tell you what. That was some sexy football when it was banging on.
Maybe in moments, but
exactly. It was definitely moments to see.
They weren't playing good a lot of the time. It didn't pass the eye test, man. I've hated the last 2
and years. I agree. I'm just saying that it was sexy when we were getting emotion with those counterattacks, man.
There's a saying that goes like, all the gear, but no idea. And that's, I believe, where we were at with Ollie, especially towards the end. He had some great players at his disposal, but just had no idea to use them correctly. I mean, he just couldn't get it to work. So
how are you going to get a mishmash of possession players and counterattacks to play? You're not going to do it.
Because the players that he really wanted, he wasn't getting. I think that's where it comes down to. You can be whatever kind of manager you want. If you're not getting the players you want to fit your style, you're going to be dead in the water.
This is what makes me doubt the Glazers for
can I say something? Why wouldn't it be better to have a manager who, if you have to counter-attack, knows when the team needs to counter-attack, rather than have just a style? Because I don't like counter-attack football. I like position. I like football where I like ruthless football. Innit? I like whether it's direct or there's positions that you are, and you just boom, you go for the kill. But you know, some games you need, or there's times in games where you need to sit back and counter-attack. My thing is, can't we get a manager who has that in their locker? There's some games where you just can't play.
I know what you're saying, Mr. B. Did you notice Mancini, when you won the Euros with Italy, was playing a lot of possession ball in group phases, then to the early knockout phases, possession ball. But when he came up against Spain, and Spain were mad with their tiki-taka, he went to counter-attack. So I know what you're saying. A manager that can, when it's not possible to do what he wants to do, do a little bit of adapting, counter. I know what you're saying.
I think it's more. I think what you would call it, especially under someone like Ten Hag, is we know the term is turnover. Now it's about we know, don't we, as a team, you press, but there are times in the games where you don't want to press. You've got to sort of not drop back too deep, but you've got to just sort of step back a little bit and regroup, settle down, and that's in the moments then where the team, if they get on top of you, you then can what you would initially call a counter-attack from a counter-attack style team, it would be that. But in our case, under an Erik Ten Hag, it would be more like a turnover, because the rule is you get in there quick, get the ball quick, and we'll bam. But the fact is that under Ten Hag, we want to be in a position, like Ralph was said when he first turned up at the club, we want to be in a position that we pressed high up the pitch, we get the ball. If you the closer you win the ball to the opponent's goal, the less time it takes to score a goal. So that's the key to it. You know what I mean? So I think for us, under Erik Ten Hag, coming up, let's say Liverpool, Manchester City, because they're the two benchmarks at the moment, it would be more about a turnover of the ball, I believe, not actually going and setting up at any point for specific counter-attack, because that would be, playing into their hands, which we don't exactly, we don't want to do that, do we? We just don't want to do that.
All right, so my whole idea has just been absolutely shambled by Ralph, and I'm kind of upset. Ralph has just come out and said, this is like 5 minutes ago, I think it's good for Hannibal, for example, or for Alejandro Garancho to train with us now for the last couple of days and weeks, but we're not playing any friendly games or games where we say, okay, we have a young player, we give a young player an opportunity to play. So my dream of seeing any young players play in any of the games in this last part of the season has just been killed by Ralph. So, yeah.
That doesn't sound like Ralph speaking, because he seems like the kind of guy that would take an educated gamble. Like, if he thinks that youth player is ready, bring him through.
I guess this means he's not ready for it. I don't think, for me, this means I think he doesn't have the confidence to think they have the ability to play, especially with the people we have. I think if this was something, you remember last year, the run of games we had towards the end of the year where it was like a really cracked Wolves and all the other teams. I imagine if we were playing like Burnley and Watford after this Norwich, and then after this Norwich match, we might be having times to slip them in. But I think with Liverpool and Arsenal and all the games we have, I think that's probably why.
I was just thinking, like, Man United struggle against everyone now. It's like, who could you even experiment against? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I know. The B team. The only place we can experiment is against the B team, our own B team. And, we can't really do that. That's what I was getting at earlier on. We can't, because there's still, as Ralph sees it, there is still a possibility that we can get into top four. So, you know what, he ain't going to sort of take any risks.
That just sounds like the club speaking, It just sounds like,
well,
you know what I mean?
It could be.
Go on.
It could be the somebody's got their hand firmly up Ralph's backside. You know what I mean? And he's just repeating what has been told. But I don't know. We'll find that out in the future in due course, because I'm sure, people like Ralph, who are great football minds, and you come to a club like Old Trafford, if it's run as we believe it's run, he won't keep that to himself once his contracts are up with the club. He will come out and speak about it. So we will find that out in the future. But before we wrap it up, I think Mr. B's got one last point for us to kind of have a little go at before we leave for the evening.
Yeah, it's where's he gone? Sherbet.
I'll find him for you, Mr. B.
Got it. Look, we're done. Our time is up. But if you are still watching, you're watching the stream late. You're watching Bergwijn to Man United. He was linked with a £20 million move to Ajax in January. Spurs wanted 25 mil, or he would have been gone, which means that Levy was willing to actually take a £2 million loss on a player. Does that mean he was bad? Does it mean he didn't fit into his style of play? Does it mean that he could come to Man United and be an Ajax player because Ten Hag wanted him to? Ten Hag was the one who wanted him at Ajax. Is that something
I'm going to make mine
happening?
I'm going to make mine brief. I'm going to say one name: Dusan Tadic.
I fucking agree. I'm going to make mine short and sweet. Hell no.
Eddie?
I mean, Bergwijn. I can't get away from like what just popped into my brain. I was just thinking a Spurs reject, really. And it's like we don't want Castas from that team, you know.
Do you know what?
Yeah. Spurs are looking good in terms of getting top 4 now, but really, overall, they've not really been a great side, you know. With their players. No, I mean, but Bergwijn, I've not seen him play even this season. He had many appearances this season.
He's been absolutely.
Do you know what? The reason why I said Tadic was because he went from Southampton to Ajax. So,
and the other one, what's that shit forward that West Ham had?
Hello.
Yeah, man. He's
okay. Congratulations for the both of them. I don't want Bergwijn anywhere near an Old Trafford. He's fucking shite.
But this is about. Listen. Again, I'll repeat what I said earlier. If Ten Hag says to us as a fan base, I believe in Bergwijn. I believe he can do a job for me and for the team. I'm going to back him.
I'll back him, but I'm going to doubt it the entire way.
I'm not so sure, you know. I don't know. Listen, I've got great faith in Erik Ten Hag and his ability to judge a player in terms of what he sees in a player, in terms of, because like we say about Manchester City, they will be the example here. Simple instructions for players in a team. This is what you do. This is your role. We haven't had that. We haven't had that in our team. Now, if Erik Ten Hag is going to come with that approach, which I'm sure he will, Bergwijn may well fit into his equation there, and he may well think, you know what, for the amount of money that it's going to cost, I know I could get a player there that could do a real job for me and for the team. So there's a
difference between wanting a player for Ajax and wanting a player for Manchester United FC. There's a massive difference.
He's talking about that style of play connection.
Oh, of course, I get what he's saying, but it might only have been Bergwijn because Ten Hag can only spend a certain amount on players at Ajax. Ajax doesn't have the caliber of budget that we do, so that might have been, you know, when you look and you're like, okay, Norwich can't buy the same, they don't have the same amount of money to spend on players as Liverpool. Ajax the same way. Ajax don't have the same amount of money to get, you know, as United does in a year-to-year transfer window. So that could have been just, you know, I can only really spend 20-25 million on players. He fits the system I want and he's cheap. Now he's got more money. Get someone better, please. Don't get some Spurs reject.
Oh yeah, Connor. Let me say this.
I'll back it the whole way, but come on, it stinks of
Connor. Listen, if I've got an old guitar, right, that's a little bit out of tune, and the neck's a bit twisted, and it's like it's lost its intonation, and I give it to a kind of an okay guitar player, but everybody's gonna go, it's not great. It's not great, mate. But if I gave that guitar to Eric Clapton, he's going to get that guitar to sing, bro. You know what I'm saying?
I know that.
That's
sorry,
simple as that.
Simple as that. I don't want him.
Is Bergwijn that bad? He's a bent up guitar. Is he actually that? Like how
no, but go on, Eddie. I'm having it.
How old is he, by the way? Like, is he actually?
He's 23. No, is he?
23.
His face just looks old.
He's stressed from Spurs. But really, we've got to look at that then. He can still be molded. That's an age which can still be malleable.
It's 24. He'll be 25 this year.
Okay.
mid-20s. Still,
Even still,
just
a good
looking
age.
to what you were saying about Tadic, because Tadic at Southampton, he was pretty average, and then we've seen what he did in the Ajax system, where a lot of players they're technically better, and then what they did in the Champions League, all those kind of things. So yeah, if Ten Hag sees that he can, what do you call it, reinvigorate this kind of player that's flopped at Spurs, I'll be for that, because he's not old. He's not old as well. So that's a big thing for me.
Yeah, because he wants that. Okay, Matthew brings up a good point, because actually Ten Hag wants to bring Antony over from Ajax to us. That's one of his that's what his big focus. And I'm saying, like I have with every manager, I'll back whoever they bring in. But to me, Bergwijn reeks of piss, and I would rather somebody else.
That's harsh, man. That's harsh.
My dad's a Spurs fan. My dad has to put up with this freaking nutter every single week. If he's telling me he reeks of piss, I'm gonna kind of believe him.
Okay, well, look, as we're talking about reeks of urine, I think it's time to wrap up. You guys in the chat, as always, it's been a pleasure. You don't have to be here, but you are. Before I go, Eddie, tell us where we can find you, man.
So have we got a little bit of time to see if anyone's rated Bergwijn in the comments?
Yeah. Well, look,
people think he smells the piss as well.
What we can do, not one person has mentioned Bergwijn, so
Wow.
I'm going to assume that it's urine that they're smelling.
Okay, all right, that's the verdict then. Okay, so yeah, thanks for having me on. You can, I'm on YouTube as well. You can find me at Eddie's Football Waffle. That's Eddie with a Y. I do some commentary videos, a bit of an analysis as well, and then I try to, put a little bit of levity, a bit of jokes in there. So yeah, give me a sub, and also obviously on this big Man United Agenda channel, hit the like and subscribe, because we keep bringing out content every day. So thanks for having me on again.
No problem, man. Thank you
Pleasure,
very much. Connor, where can they find you? Hopefully you're not going to be outside the toilet.
Or in one.
I mean, when I'm about, I'm usually on here or I'm on Rich Sports. Those are the two main places you'll really find me. I'm hoping to be more involved again now that I'm kind of cutting back on my hours now that it's gone into this new month. So yeah, hopefully I should be back on here again soon, because I love it here. This is such an amazing channel to be a part of.
Oh, bless you, brother. Checks in the post. Didn't even have to. No commission needed, bro. No commission needed, man. Guys, talk. We're gonna be listening to your dulcet tones. You rated, which we understand. I'm broke this month, so we can't afford to be giving Solo any more swear money. So we're just gonna keep it nice and smooth. So what we doing tomorrow?
Yeah, 2:30 tomorrow. We will be live with the watch along for the game. So if anybody wants to come along and listen to our commentary and our non-sweary, we won't swear when we get angry.
I'll be fresh out of bed, so please do not get too loud.
Yeah, no, we'll just give you a nice bit of commentary, talk about the game, see how we're getting on, and excellent.
Stumpy, apologies.
Yo.
The last couple of weeks, the last couple of days, my eyes give me real jip after a certain amount of time. It was my job to read the messages, to read out all of the messages today, and I hoped that you guys wouldn't notice. Obviously, that's what the agenda do, and that's what we're kind of known for. So, my apologies. From the next show, we will make sure 100% that the majority of the comments do get read out later towards the show. Yeah.
Actually, Stumpy, I love Stumpy. I love your name. It's a great name, Stumpy Cancel. I've always said that when the first time I seen you on the channel, I was like, it's a cool name. So we've read yours. And before we go, I'm going to quickly just read a couple, Mr. B, before we go. Football United TV, I think we're being blinded here. Nothing will change. Bring in anyone you like, but the regime will always be sour. We have to change the owners. We've got Ola Kunle, and Rini was on Klopp radar.
Anthony
was on Klopp radar 2 seasons ago, along with Diaz. We chose Diaz, so that seems to be a great signing. Matthew Bassett at Rebel, the Glazers have done the worst by squandering our money. Rebel, our own Rebel, he says, we will make sure Mr. B and Talk get a pay cut for not reading the comments.
Listen, pay cut. Yo, hold on a minute. Let's just get this twisted. Man talk about pay cut. Every time I cuss, I owe money. I do this for the love, yeah? Listen about pay cut.
Talk about pay cut and that.
Taking the piss.
There ain't no pay to cut. There ain't no pay
exactly.
to cut. Lucas in the
Solo
building.
ain't even giving us a bloody McDonald's meal, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd be happy with a happy meal, Mr. B. There's big up Luca from Lucas Life Arsenal fan.
Solo.
There he goes. He's getting nervous because we're going to play Arsenal soon and we're going to kick them up royal. Football United TV, you read loads, guys. Great show. Matthew Bassett's big up everyone on the show and in the chat. Yes. And I can't get to this last one here for some reason.
Olakunle, thank you. So you know what? Maybe it was just the time that you joined the show, Stumpy. Sorry, man. Sorry. And you know what? This is the one. This is the one.
Great show. Looking forward to Tuesday.
Yeah. We have Liverpool on Tuesday for everybody who knows. And I'm guaranteeing that 007 and Bob will be in the chat.
Oh,
now,
for sure.
We need to put Norwich out the way first, so I'll keep my mouth. I'll leave it to you, Talk.
I want to ask Ola Kunle now, and I want you to be honest there, Ola, and actually promise me if Man United turn Liverpool over, you're gonna come on and you're gonna take the grief we're gonna give you, bro. Yeah, put it in the chat now that you'll do it and be a man. Don't go missing like the Arsenal fans.
Take it.
He has to make that deal. He has to make that deal because I can't see Man United doing anything. To be honest,
he's gonna be in the chat.
Yo, last one. Sorry, last one before we go. It's Delano Francis. Yo, big up. Do you guys think Ten Hag can be successful with the current structure, which only Sir Alex Ferguson seems to be the only one who can have success?
Well, changing.
It's for me. I think there's been conversations about how things have done it in order for them to actually lure Ten Hag into the position of manager. So I think, you know what, there will be some different approaches in the way we do things. I do believe that. In terms of the overall structure, you can't change it overnight. We know that. But I think it's a slow process. We'll have to wait and see if the Glazers are willing to you know, sort of admit their failings and actually try and make moves to put it right. But only time will tell. But until the next time, I'll leave it to Mr. B to see us out.